Hello everyone, welcome to You Can Automate. So far whatever we have seen, it is related to Appium, some basic concepts and how to set up the Appium and some of the prerequisites. Now going forward, upcoming sessions will be focusing more on a framework, how to create a framework from a scratch. So in this particular session, what we are going to do is, so I have taken one of the e-commerce application, that is mobile application, and I'm going to give an overview how our framework looks like, how our framework will be structured, and some of the key components of the framework. And we'll begin with one of the configuration, that is config.ini and conf.test, why we are using it, how we are using it. So all those concepts we'll be discussing here, and we'll be discussing one more concept, that is a device installer, why we are using it and how we can use it. So let's begin with this session. This is one of the framework overview of any e-commerce. So here I have considered the Amazon application. So that is very famous and most of them might have used. So I have considered this Amazon application so that we can relate with any of the ongoing projects which you are working on. The first thing which we need to consider is the setup. So given any framework, some of the configuration and the setup plays an important role. Why? Because to dynamically create the some of the settings, configuration, and to dynamically run the test cases, these settings will help us. So this configuration will hold some of the details like device information, what is the iOS version, what is the platform, what is the port you are running in. Some those kind of information we can save it in the setup. And in this particular setup we'll be having two files. One is configuration, another one is a conf test, that I will discuss more about it in further slide. And now coming to the second thing is test cases, right? So if you consider any application, here we have considered the Amazon application. This is a screenshot of Amazon home screen. It includes some multiple workflows. See, you will log into application, search for some product, add a particular product to a bag, and then you go and check out and then place an order, right? So this is a normal usual workflow of any e-commerce application. Similarly, based on that, I have just given some of the sample test cases like login test, order placement test, product search test, and some other tests also here I've added. And while running these particular tests, we need to have the screens also. Screens are nothing but the pages. If you know about the web application, we have web pages, right? Page object model. Similarly, in Appium also we are going to create in a similar fashion, but in mobile perspective we call them as a screens. So here, if you consider any of the e-commerce application, we have a login screen, home screen, PDP screen, basket screen, or you can relate to your real-time application and you can assume any other screens as well. And for all these screens we will be creating multiple classes, and there will be something called base screen, so that will connect with all the other screen. That means it will hold some of the common functionalities, some of the common reusable components which can be consumed by different screens. So this is about the screens. So these particular tests will be calling these screen objects, and it will be using some of the reusable components from this screen classes. Now coming to utilities. So utilities, we call it as a common reusable components for any given framework. It could be of a driver manager, it could be of handling some of the files related operations, and it could be reading some of the strings, right? Solving some of the complex problems. Those all things we are putting it under utilities component. So this is the overview of any given e-commerce, and it is at a very high level. We can extend this and you can add more functionalities, or we can make it more advanced also. So I'm considering one of the e-commerce application, that is Amazon, and based on that only all the test cases which we are going to build further, it will be based on this e-commerce application. Now we discussed about the configuration, right? The first thing which comes up in the framework, any given framework, is configuration. So here we are considering config.ini, right? What is that config.ini is? Config.ini is a plain text configuration file commonly used in a Python projects to store settings, variable, environment variables like URLs, DB settings, etc. You can consider anything. And why we are using that ini file is it is easy to read and easy to understand. It is in a plain text format. In automation framework, we can use this .ini file for saving desired capabilities. That means while initiating the Appium, we'll be having several capabilities like what is a platform name, what is a device name, right? Those all details we can save it in this config.ini. Conf test is a special configuration file used in a PyTest framework. As we are using a PyTest in our automation framework, so we can make use of this confftest.py. It allows you to define fixtures, hooks, configuration that can be shared across multiple test files, right? This is a main advantage of having conf test. That means it is a common configuration which will be available across the framework. Now another thing is a device installer. This is an extra package which I wanted to share because this will be using it to identify some of the bundle IDs of a installed application. How to install this? It is a given command here, so we can make use of this device installer command, right? This particular package is used to get the bundle ID of any given applications which is installed in your device. So first what I will do is I will install this brew install iDevice installer so that I'll get the bundle ID of it. Hitting enter. So okay, it has already installed, and how I'm going to make use of it is I'm running this command to see which all apps got installed in my device. So this is my device here. If you screen the right hand side of the screen, so here I've installed the Amazon application, right? So it is a e-commerce application, and when I run this particular command, that is device installer -l, so it is displaying the bundle ID of all the applications which are installed in my iPhone device. So we can make use of this bundle ID in our automation framework to interact with this particular application. Now let's go to our framework. So this is the empty project which I have created. I have named it as an e-commerce Appium test, and this we have seen like how to create the project and how to add this requirement.txt file and how to install in our previous sessions. If you have not gone through the sessions, I have given the links to those sessions in the above message. I have added these particular links in my description also. You can go and watch it. So the first thing which we need to do is creating a config.ini. I'm going to right click on this empty project and click on file. So here I'm going to name it as config.ini. Why we need this config.ini? To pass the desired capabilities to Appium, because in the previous sessions we have seen that while creating a Appium driver we need to pass several capabilities. That means some of the settings, at what is iOS version, platform name, everything. So all these things we are going to create in this config.ini, and we are going to read it dynamically during the execution. So we need to provide headings in the configurations, right? I am giving as options. What all details I'm adding is iOS version equals to 18.5. 18.5, how I am adding is my device has the iOS version as 18.5. So that's why I added 18. Now then device name, I will fast forward a little bit so that we will not be wasting some time here. We have fetched the bundle ID for Amazon application. I can go to my terminal, copy this bundle ID and put it here. Now I want the UD ID also. Go to your Xcode, go to window, device and simulator, go to your device and copy this device. If you have a simulator, you can copy the simulator ID also. Next thing is platform name. Cool. I have added all the information in this config.ini which I'll be requiring while creating a Appium driver. I have added the bundle ID which I have fetched from the command line, and UD ID which I have from Xcode, and other details are common. This port is a 4726, is just I have added one port. You can add any port whatever you like it, so that it will pick it up dynamically while creating drive. Now after this config.ini, I'll be creating a conftest.py. So in this confftest.py, we are not going to add much information, but only the required information which is across the framework, right? So what one variable I need to add here is a root directory. That means to fetch any of the details, any of the path of any given file in this entire framework, I need to know what is a root directory, because while writing an automation test I cannot hard code the file path directly in my test. That will fail if I'm running the test in my pipeline or somewhere else. So that's why we need to make some configuration so that it will read the root directory path from this particular confftest.py. Here I'm using some of the OS functions, that is os.path. OS means operating system dot path, real path. This is a function which will fetches the path of any given directory. So os.path again, and here I'm going to use one of the join function here. Join function, it will club two different paths into one path. So here I'm saying that os dot path again dot directory name, and inside directory name I want, what directory name I want to fetch? The current file wherever I am in, I want to fetch the current directory name of a given file. After that, this particular directory name I want to club with current directory. So this is my root directory. So here I have added config.ini and conf.test.py, and conf.test.py will provide me a root directory of this particular project where I have created, and then along with that I can attach any of the other details. So this is about conftest.py and config.ini. So going forward, we will make use of these two files, and we will create a driver, and we will create some other usable components also. So stay tuned for the next session. Thank you.